everybody? Mark, aka the Nerdy Punk, back again today for a new video. Hope you all are doing well. Today I want to get into 5 recommendations in the horror genre for the Criterion Collection for their upcoming Barnes & Noble 50% off sale for the month of November. Now, rumors indicate that the sale will be starting tomorrow, which is Friday, October 29th, 2021, and will be running through November 29th, 2021, which is Cyber Monday here in the United States. It's the Monday after Thanksgiving and the Monday after Black Friday, so there's tons of not only sales on media, but there's also sales on basically anything you could ever want for your holiday shopping. So that's just a rumor. Not 100% sure if that's going to happen, but most likely what's going to happen is that by the time you're watching this video, the sale is on. So head over to the Barnes & Noble website, peruse their list of titles, and see if you would like to pick up anything from the Criterion Collection. For those who are not familiar with it, Criterion puts out what they consider to be the best films of all time. They give them fancy new transfers. They give them tons of supplements. Packaging is always fantastic. They always have a booklet that includes an essay about every film. So it is the premier way to own a film if you're a physical media collector. I highly recommend Criterion. I've been buying their stuff for a little over a year now, is when I really got into collecting them. My first Criterion I bought, I think, like 3 years ago, but I didn't really get into them until last November with my first Barnes & Noble sale. All right, a couple parameters real quick to go over. So all 5 of these titles are in the horror genre, so they're either horror or psychological thriller or something that kind of fits into that horror world. Partly, I chose that because it's my favorite genre, but I also partly chose it because it's October. It's spooky season in 2021, so perfect timing for horror movies. Another quick parameter, so these are all titles that I've obviously seen, so I can recommend them. And then they are also the titles in my collection. So my Criterion collection is not nearly as large as many other people. I have around 30 to 40 titles so far. And so there's a lot of titles that I won't be able to recommend because they're not in my collection. So this is within my collection. Just keep that in mind as we go through. Okay, I'm going to stop rambling and get into the titles. First one I have here is Silence of the Lambs. This is, in my opinion, one of the most mainstream titles in the Criterion Collection, and it is a fantastic film if you've never seen it, if you're one of like the 2 people on the planet that hasn't seen this movie. It's an amazing movie. Highly recommend watching it if you haven't seen it yet, but I really recommend this Criterion edition. This is one of the first titles that they released back on DVD back in the day. This is spine number 13 from 1991, and highly recommend this version of the film. There's also actually a 4K that was just released from Kino Lorber. If you prefer that specific edition, sorry, I can't speak, then feel free to go out and grab that one, but I think this is a fantastic release. The transfer looks amazing, even though it's just a Blu-ray, and the packaging is just beautiful on this release. I've shown this before in videos on the channel, but it is a really nice edition, and there's the booklet there with an essay about the film and tons of photos and stuff like that. So if this is kind of like a gateway title, in my opinion. If you're on the fence about Criterion and you want to just kind of dip your toe in the water, this is one of them that I would recommend. So, Silence of the Lambs. Next one. This is like my #1 recommendation. If you've never seen this movie, you need to go watch it, especially if you like sci-fi and sci-fi horror. This is one of my favorite sci-fi horror films of all time, and frankly, one of my favorite films just in general of all time. This is Videodrome by David Cronenberg. I adore this movie. I picked it up last November with the Barnes & Noble sale, and it was such an incredible decision because I fell in love with this movie. Such an amazing movie, tons of body horror, sci-fi elements, some really messed up stuff and imagery in this movie. Of course, it's Cronenberg, so if you've seen Cronenberg before, you kind of know what to expect with that. This is from 1983, spine number 248. And another thing real quick that I love about the packaging of this is that it looks like a Betamax videotape. And of course, it's got the line, "Long live the new flesh," which is featured in the film. And then that's what it looks like with the booklet and everything. So yes, this is like my #1 recommendation to anybody who likes horror and sci-fi horror. David Cronenberg's Videodrome. Highly recommended. Next one up, this is kind of my out there pick. This is only going to be for a certain type of audience, but I figured I'd throw it in there because I really love the film, even though I don't really feel like watching it all that often because of how messed up it is, and that is Antichrist from Lars von Trier. This is actually the first Criterion I bought back in, I think 2018 is when I picked this up. This was released long before 2018, but I picked it up then because I really wanted to watch the film. Didn't really know what Criterion was, but a couple years later I became obsessed with Criterion. This is from 2009, spine number 542. This is like an exploitation horror movie, but it has a message to it. There's a lot about grief in this movie and how humans deal with grief, and there's a lot just about humanity in general. But like I said, there's a lot of messed up stuff in it, so if you're not cool with that, if you don't like exploitation horror, definitely don't watch this. But if you're into that kind of thing, this is definitely one to watch. Next one. This is a Japanese horror film that I just watched this year. Picked it up in the last Criterion sale, and that is House by Nobuhiko Obayashi, I believe is how you say that. This is from 1977. Spine number 539. This is a very psychedelic, crazy horror movie. Tons of crazy shit happens in this movie. If you like crazy shit, you're going to like this movie. It's not necessarily like Antichrist in terms of crazy. It's not like ridiculously gory or messed up, but it's just weird. It's very, very weird. I can't describe it. It's a movie you have to watch for yourself and experience it. And I loved it when I watched it, so highly recommend this one. And then the last one that I have to recommend for you guys for the upcoming sale is Memories of Murder. So this is the one that kind of verges on like a psychological thriller, drama film, but it certainly has horror elements. This is by Bong Joon-ho, and Bong Joon-ho's most recent film that won the Oscar for Best Picture, of course, Parasite. They also have a Criterion release of this. Also highly recommend this one. This is a masterpiece of a movie. So if for some reason you haven't seen Parasite, or you have and you really like it, this is also one I would recommend. But for the purpose of this video, I'm recommending Memories of Murder because I feel like it's a lot more under the radar than Parasite. Parasite's blowing up, of course, rightfully so. But this movie, not as many people know about, and it is just as fantastic as Parasite. Highly recommend it. One of the best like murder mystery dramas that I've ever seen in my life, frankly. It is that good. So this is from 2003, spine number 1073, so it's a very recent release, just came out last year. Great performances in this, great writing. This is a fantastic one, so I definitely recommend this one as well. Alright, so those are my 5 Criterion Collection recommendations for the Criterion sale coming up in November. I'm going to be, like I said, hitting it up at least once, definitely going to be ordering online, and then maybe as well figuring my way into an actual physical store for Barnes & Noble. Super excited for this. Again, just happens twice a year, so I always kind of gear up and save my money for this. Go ahead and let me know down below in the comments if you're going to be hitting up the Criterion sale and what you plan on picking up, kind of what's on your wish list. I don't have as detailed a wish list this time as I did back in July, but I'm definitely looking to pick up a couple titles in particular. So stay tuned also for my videos, my haul videos on the Criterion sale. And I hope you all have an amazing day, amazing month here. Happy hunting, everybody. See you later.